So on to the news, next news item, I should say. Kwame, you with me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a sad news though, and it's something that happened. It has actually recurred. It happened during the week, but there was a similar instance in the past couple of weeks or even months or so. But karibuni hapa. Now what happened was there's a woman who has been accused of killing her kids. I believe she killed one and she attempted to kill the other, but she ended up injuring the other kid. I'm not sure what happened to the kid. But the woman hails from Eldoret, and apparently she had squabbles with the husband. The woman goes by the name of Jepkosgei, and she's alleged to have stabbed her 2-year-old son and daughter, who is 6. So her weapon of choice was a kitchen knife in a rental house in an estate called West Indies in Eldoret, like I said earlier. So the son died on the spot. By the time she was taken to court, the death of the daughter had not been recorded. That's why I said I'm not sure about the other kid. So she actually confessed. And like we said, most of us don't get the chance to watch news, but I watched this particular one. And she was there and she was talking about, this is now Jepkosgei. She did not intend to harm her children. She says she loved them so much. Would you believe that?
What type of twisted love is that?
Yeah, and she blames it all on stress, and she actually had to say the words depression. It was a bit puzzling to me, because usually people who act in certain ways when they're depressed, you don't usually hear them say, I'm suffering from depression. They're usually just there like, I don't know much about that, but she talked about being depressed. She blamed it on she had domestic quarrels with her husband, and she apparently went back to her home, to her mother's house, her father's house, where she claims she was also sort of banished. And then the father apparently is the father to the young one, the one that died, the son. But
which father?
The husband.
Oh yes.
What do you mean, which father? Are we talking about the same?
Yeah, because you are saying that she went back to her parents' house.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, I get you.
That's where I got lost.
The husband is the father to the young one, the boy that she murdered.
Yeah.
But the daughter is not the biological child to
okay.
So she also claims the husband was giving preferential treatment to the young one. And I think it's a very sad one, and it's an area that we really need to look into, because I believe some of these things, they hit the news. If we get to know about them, we feel sad, tunachambua kidogo, and then we forget,
and then we move on to the next, right?
Until the next one happens. Because you remember the other one that happens in Kitengela, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. In fact, when you was talking about this, in my mind, I was waiting for you to mention Kitengela, and then you mentioned Eldoret. Now I was a bit confused.
Yeah.
I wasn't even aware, to be honest, about this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, because if you're not aware about the Kitengela one, there was also a similar scenario whereby a mother took the life of a kid, and it's actually recorded as apparently she was even mutilating the body of her child. I don't know where these things are coming from, because I know times have changed and all that, but hizi vitu zilikuwa kitambo kweli, ama ni vile siku hizi we have
to be honest, I don't think
more access to new.
I don't think the extremes that we are experiencing right now were the kitambo. I think that's where we just need to draw the line, because
basically there are things that used to happen and they existed solely in movies.
Yes. And
in horror themed books. Nowadays tunaziona in our neighborhoods, in our country, and
even the writers of the movies, they were a bit reserved in terms of they don't just kill kids aimlessly, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, you look at this person, when this suspect is there and they're being arraigned in court and there's all sorts of crazy stories, but siji kidogo apparently there's a man somewhere, without necessarily mentioning the area, because your area yenyewe imelemewa sana over the past couple of months with the crazy stories in Kenya. But apparently a man's private parts being beaten off, awachana ile chopping off ya kitambo, squeezing it, biting off, siji kids eyes being gouged out, siji like there's all sorts of senseless and just
even for the kids' eyes
happening.
like it was the baby Sagini or Sagina just
yeah I think you got the name right.
I saw something about it on the news yesterday, but I don't know how our prosecution works and how fast and how quick they can I know it doesn't bring the person back, but I think people should be brought to book
and
for these crimes.
Not to put you in a tight spot, like I know you're not necessarily an expert to this, as I am not also, but what do you think we can attribute all these things that are happening nowadays to? Historia, because people, it's so easy to, I'm not disputing, but it's so easy to just summarize it as mental health, alafu inaisha. Like, what is it that is happening now that are making people to do some extreme unnecessary things in kitambo, like we said, we are not hearing of? Kwani mababu zetu mazee wako na mental even hata ije mababa zetu.
I have a theory. I think as people of this generation, we are a bit soft. In fact, we are extremely soft. Unaonaga like people saying like ni watoto wasere like nini. I think we are extremely soft, because I think if things used to be hard and we had in the past, imagine a time without electricity, a time before the wheel was even invented. Imagine how hard even construction, even making shelter was, even transportation and all that was. I'm taking you way back. But now,
that's why I'm trying hard to imagine.
Yes. Yeah, but now I think generally we're just soft, because take for an instance, you can have a sit down with your parents and just ask them how life was when they were growing up, some of the atrocities and some of the things that they faced back then. If you were given the same, all things constant, it's just you being put in that scenario, but it's right now. So your chances of surviving that would be, I think, minimal. And apart from that, I think the world has evolved. As they say, tumekuwa a global village, so we get to pick a lot of things from different cultures, different places. And then there's also like, I believe there's, I'm so much into conspiracy theories, and I believe there's people pushing agendas out here that are way bigger than even what we can imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course, just to add on that, like if you say people are soft generation SI, then we really have to look at the preparation of that being into coming to exist in a society. So parenting, of course, has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Yes, just to handle the tough things that life can throw at you.
Yeah. Do you think we need to place some blame on our parents for?
Yeah, and it's the road.
I think there's a lot of I think it should be 50-50, right? We have to do the work on our end, but they also didn't do some of the work that they were supposed to do.
Yeah, because the software, as much as like the machine I'm using right now, if it cannot do certain things, which sometimes it cannot, we cannot just go around blaming. We need to look at the software itself. What is the machine programmed to do? Is it capable of computing this and that? And I believe the parenting, and the problem is it's rotting as time goes by. It's becoming worse because the way you're brought up, Kwame, is not just to feed you and to clothe you. Part of education is to equip you so that ukikuwa come into life now, you're now an adult, it will not always be that rosy. So how do you handle when times are tough? How do you handle a breakup? Historia siji kidogo mtu amejitupa ziko barabara sababu dema amemwacha na nini.
Eri ulie vile Jeff ulia.
Sikumbuki niliachwa lini, but ni sawa. I'll let that one slide. Yeah, but there are better ways of handling things that we are not equipped for right now. So what
even simple things like life skills, those are things that people need to get taught. Like, I know you have nephews and nieces and all that. There's a lot of things, even in terms of just the general first aid, that I think when you have a sit down with them, you should be equipping them with. And you get even people our age are not equipped with it. Even simple things like first aid, doing CPR and all that.
Yeah. I mean, here you are calling it simple, but what I know is that mimi kama nimeka siji kufanya first aid.
Me I actually did some. There's a lot of courses to be done, and I've actually done a few.
And they usually don't even take that long.
They don't take long, and it's free.
It's actually free of charge.
Free, yeah, and you get even accredited in terms of you get a certificate for it. I think I should post it here so that even the listeners can gain from that.
What are the institutions like? I believe there's a St. John's.
Yeah, St. John's. I actually did the St. John ones. It's quite elaborate, but there are others too. But the St. John ones is easy to get into. There's a St. Florence and all that. Florence Academy and all that.
Yeah, so we really need to look into that. Like, personally, hopefully if you're listening and you don't have the skills, you'll accompany me na tunataka nifanye. I mean, you said it's like a week or two?
No, I think there's like the intermediate courses. There's very short ones. You can even take 2 hours to do. But as you advance, the basic ones, you only need like 2 days.
And these are skills that if you're equipped with, you can actually save a life.
You can save a life.
Yeah, man.
I'm moving on swiftly. Now, just keeping it on the same lane. You were talking about children and all that.
Mm-hmm.
The Ministry of Labor and Social Protection. So our CS Cabinet Secretary right now is someone called Florence Bore. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Now, there's a report that was released.
Okay.
Sorry?
You said that's Bore?
Yeah.
There used to be it's not Bo.
I thought of saying Bo, but being that ni mtu wa huku nikasema tunaga hizo madoido.
Kitambo ungeambiwa don't be a Bo. You're a Bo.
Una Bo.
Anyway, as you proceed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a report that was made between July 2022 and May 2023.
Yeah.
And it actually says that over 6,841 children have been reported missing. Imagine between July 2022 and 2023.
Read that number again.
6,841 children are missing.
That's a huge number.
Yeah. And the reason I even decided to share is because a lot of us are parents. A lot of us also have nephews and nieces. And I even thought about you, like, how involved are you in your nephews and nieces' lives, and in terms of even just being protective of them?
I mean, that's a question and imekuja na ambush, but still I think it's only natural that people who are close to you like that, whether it's your daughter, your son, your nephew, your niece, as you mentioned, or any child, it should even be. The only problem is squeezy kuna boundaries more now. What you can do with your neighbor's kids.
Yeah.
Or even
your neighbor, like even your siblings.
Yeah, because
kids, right?
Yeah, it's a challenge nowadays, because some of these things, being protective even comes in the form of just guiding. Wait, kuchukua kakiboko kidogo, don't do this. This is wrong.
Yes.
That's a form of protecting a child.
True.
And it's more difficult, of course, without necessarily going into details. Nowadays, you don't just do that.
Yeah.
But of course, you, if personally, it's something that without question, in whatever way that I can, I try to the best of the extent.
And even in terms of, you remember when we were growing up, there used to be a lot of the community was involved in raising us up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that's not happening anymore? Of course, you've talked about there's a lot of restrictions either from your neighbors, the parents who are your neighbors, and sometimes even your siblings. But you get that this has a lot of implications because say, like I remember the other day, there's a kid who knocked some lady, right?
Oh yeah,
with a bicycle.
On a bike,
Yeah. You had just seen him ride the bicycle and he had no brakes. And a few minutes later, and the woman was actually limping, right?
Yeah, she had to pause a bit because of the pain, I guess.
And we had to intervene, right, to some extent.
Yeah, but it's a small boy, but even the way alikonaongea,
authority ingine hapo like
yeah, in a way like coy, but it's not a way that a child is supposed to talk back. But yeah.
But anyway, I think that's just something I wanted to highlight there, so that a lot of people should be like, be careful.
It goes back to the software thing, because I think the earlier generations will come up wakijua that yes, this is my biological parent, but my neighbor who is an adult can also parent, and my teachers can parent, and even an adult stranger can parent. But nowadays that art or that whatever imeisha, so it becomes even more difficult to
I think it was also important because the reason I brought the story up, the ministry for that, they have come up with a missing child hotline, and I think it's important for people to have this. So the missing child helpline is 0800 22 3344. I'll write it down there so that you can get it. And there's also a DCI toll-free crime reporting hotline, 0800 722 203. I think it's important, if you notice anything or you see something, don't just keep quiet with it. Save the children. Let's save our children.
The number that you brought up is actually alarming. 6,000
and that's between like kids. May and June and May.
Kasarani iko na capacity ya I'm trying to place it, but you take those 6,000 kids and you put them in that stadium, and it fills up a huge space. So imagine to our wamepotea like hivyo tu.
Crazy.
Most definitely.
You think we have time to do one more, because I think we are almost.
I think being the maiden episode of the weekly brief, maybe we'll keep it as brief. Tumejaribu kupick, like we said, it could be 1, it could be 10, it could be 5, but I think we had like 4 in total, which if kuna mtu mahali yako anajua, now you know, and even if you did, maybe kuna angle ingine tumekupatia yenye can help with that thing or two. So going forward, of course tutakuwa tuna highlight even more so that we get to inform one another. And of course you can also weigh in the comments with newsworthy items that you feel, things that we might need to know of as a whole, so that tuko in the know sisi sote, sio?
The weekly brief every Saturday and Sunday. Jeff and Kwame. LAFIT podcast. And we out.
Ladies, gentlemen, the sky is blue, good chicks are few. If there are dummies in it, don't join the crew. Kwame was the intel. 2
envelopes here. One is carrying bad news, the other one is carrying good news. Which one should I start with?
I want to go with the good news one.
The good news is we have 10,000 plus subscribers.
What's the bad news?
The subscribers are still in your pockets, inside your phone, your laptops, your smart TVs and all that. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow
on all the platforms.